Hello, welcome back to Uplift Equine, Equestrian Education playlist. I wanted to actually highlight something that happened back in April that I thought would gain a bit more traction than it did. I stumbled across a video that was highlighting it back in actually the end of April, and it was like extremely recent, and then it just so happened that one of my students asked me about it like literally 24 hours after I had watched the video, and it was on leg wraps. And part of me should not be surprised that it hasn't gained too much traction. It's kind of been a little hush-hush because the tradition of leg wrapping has been so prevalent within the horse community worldwide that I think people just they're either convinced that they do actually do something, or it's just because everybody else does it, we've always done it, why not continue to always do it? But I like to err on the side of science, and if there is a new discovery that has come out that gives different and new evidence against something because of, and especially if it results in injury, I don't want to be consciously injuring my horse just for the sake of tradition or because I want to do what everybody else is doing. So Equus magazine, and this is amongst other magazines that have covered it, but Equus covers it the best in my opinion. The Dutch National Federation bans bandages in competition. The science-based decision is intended to contribute to equine welfare, which I agree with. Well, I am not going to pronounce that one, but it translates into the Royal Dutch Equestrian Sports Federation, or KNHS, has announced a ban on bandages at competitions in the Netherlands due to concerns about possible damage to horses' legs during exercise. Already outlawed in eventing there, bandages will no longer be permitted in vaulting, show jumping, dressage, and driving. Standing bandages will reportedly still be allowed in the stable, likewise with shipping bandages during transport. Based on scientific studies, the following news release is from the KNHS website. The regulations for dressage, jumping, and driving that will take effect on April 1st, 2024, and for vaulting on March 1st, 2024, will state that bandages are no longer allowed on the competition grounds. This rule, which was already in place for eventing, has now been extended to all disciplines to contribute to the welfare of horses. The decision is based on scientific studies, which show that bandages do not provide effective leg protection and can even have a negative effect on horses' legs. There's no getting around it, so much research has been done to it. It is obvious that it is better to stop using it, especially because there are alternatives if you want to protect the lower legs, says Fenna Westerdoen, who manages the horse welfare portfolio at the KNHS. No effective leg protection. Morgan Lashley, specialist in sports medicine and equine rehabilitation at the University of Utrecht, confirms that bandages do not offer effective leg protection. It has been investigated whether bandages can prevent overstretching of the fetlock joint. The answer is no. Even tape does not help against that. You can only stabilize this joint with a brace or a cast, and then you can't ride with that. If you want protection against knocking or wrapping, tendon boots work better than a piece of fabric. They're talking about polo wraps versus splint boots. The splint boots have a piece of metal in there to protect against a horse hitting itself if it has a winging issue or something. But that also carries other risks. Damaged tendon fibers. The main problem is that under bandages, the temperature of the legs gets high, which has a detrimental effect on the elasticity of the tendon tissue. It is sometimes compared to boiling an egg. The structure of the tendon fibers changes, which can damage them. It doesn't help if you cool down your legs immediately after riding. The damage has already been done. That's like setting your house on fire and then putting it out later. The damage has already been done. She also points out the problems that can arise if bandages are not applied correctly. If they become loose, a horse can get caught up in them. If they are too tight or the material is not good, pressure can occur. I have seen abroad that tendons have suffered trauma from bandages that were too tight. These new regulations, which will take effect for dressage, jumping, driving on April 1st, 2024, and for vaulting on March 1st, 2024, are now a new step towards ensuring the welfare of the horse during competition. Now, I do agree with this, because if you are adding heat to the horse's leg, even bandages that say they dissipate heat, they look like standing wrap pads, and then they're put underneath of these polo wraps that dressage riders will use, and they say, oh, they're cooling bandages. No, the only way a bandage can have a cooling effect is if you have something added to it that has a cooling effect, like a ice pack. And I know those cooling bandages do not have ice packs built into them, because those tend to get not as flexible if you have repeated uses of them. But there is no way that a leg can cool itself more effectively than just an uncovered leg. And the only way you can do that is if you have water added to it. So you need to have some sort of external cooling effect added to it, such as ice or cold water or a cryo gun thing. But there is nothing that you are going to be able to wrap your horse's leg in and say that it is cooling. It causes excess heat buildup. So in that excess heat buildup, the tendon kind of has a boiled egg effect, like they said, and it becomes brittle. Just as a rubber band, that if you leave, like, either a rubber band, or so if you left like your yoga pants in the car for too long, that elastic band will become brittle and start breaking. That's what happens to your horse's leg if you wrap the leg and it becomes hot. And it doesn't matter, the damage has already been done before you even take the bandage off, and it happens within minutes. So there's no reason why you should be adding medicine wraps, polo wraps, any kind of non-splint boot wrap. And even with the splint boots, you don't want to just put them on willy-nilly. You want to put them on if the horse has a proven issue where it's winging out and hitting itself on the leg. And if you are doing cross-country and you say, hey, but my horse is going to get hit in the leg with the jump, if your horse isn't tucking enough to get over the jump without hitting its legs, then the horse is not fit for that, to be jumping that course. So you need to fix the other issues first. If the Dutch have done all this research and went through all of this and watched the competitions for years and years and said it's better to just ban them altogether than to worry about a horse kind of knocking itself on a jump, because they ban everything. Absolutely everything except for standing wraps for medical issues, and shipping wraps for if they're knocking their legs against things during shipping. And even that, I wouldn't even wrap my horse's legs for shipping, because the heat buildup will also happen, because they are not only just standing, but they are actively balancing themselves during the transport. So you just want to make sure that your trailer itself does not have any sharp edges that the horse can knock itself on and injure himself during shipping. So totally agree with this. I want to give it a little bit more awareness now that I have noticed that it is not getting a whole lot of traction in the news, even though it's been put out on almost every equine magazine. But like, I saw one video. There is one video on it, and that's the one that I watched in April. So I just wanted to let you know, and I want to start this whole no leg wraps movement, or no competition-based, non-medical-based research wraps movement. Go out there, don't wrap your horse's legs unless your vet absolutely specifically tells you to, and generally, if your vet is telling you to wrap your horse's leg, it is probably because the horse is unrideable, lame, etc., etc. So, no riding with leg wraps. Just keep your horse's legs as cool as possible by just keeping them open to air. Alright, well, please like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos more often, and hit up our Patreon site, Uplift Equine, so that is down in the comments, and please tell someone about us, and have a wonderful day.